Welcome to the Deep Dive, where we get you the essential knowledge from your sources fast. Today, we're diving into Senegal, specifically the capital, Dakar. You hear it called the Paris of West Africa, right?
Yeah, and based on our sources, that title feels earned. Dakar comes across as this incredibly vibrant, sophisticated place. It's packed with culture, deep history, those amazing beaches.
Absolutely. So our mission today is really to pull out the key stuff for you, the traveler. We're talking logistics, culture, maybe some surprising history bits to help you have a smooth and, well, really rich trip.
Exactly. And it's a great place to start exploring West Africa. The sources consistently pointed out Senegal's stability. It's seen as one of the most stable democracies there.
Which makes it a pretty accessible entry point. It seems to have this mix of boldness and dynamism.
Totally. And underpinning all of that, there's this core concept you need to understand. Teranga.
Okay, Teranga, let's break that down. It's Wolof for hospitality, but the sources made it sound like much more than just being polite.
Oh, it's way deeper. It's described as like the nation's spiritual foundation. It's a serious cultural obligation, something people are genuinely proud of.
Yeah.
Don't be shocked if someone you've just met invites you into their home for a meal.
Wow, like right away.
Yeah, it can happen. It's this intense, sincere generosity.
Okay, so that's amazing, but how do you navigate that as a visitor? If someone invites you and you say, genuinely have other plans?
Good question. Sensitivity is key. You should always try to accept a Thai tea. We'll get to that. But if it's full meal and you really can't, you just need to be incredibly gracious, explain you're on a tight schedule, maybe express real regret.
And if you do go?
Definitely bring a small gift. Something simple like fruit or maybe some sweets. It just shows appreciation for their effort,
Makes sense. And to connect, language helps. Senegal has over 30 languages.
At least. But in Dakar, you'll mostly hear Wolof, which is the main local language, and French, the official one.
So French basics like bonjour, s'il vous plaît are useful.
Definitely. But honestly, learning even a couple of Wolof phrases makes a huge difference. Just Nenga def for how are you?
Nenga def. Okay.
And Jerejef for thank you. It shows respect, and people really appreciate it. You'll get smiles.
Got it. Now, there was one piece of etiquette that seemed absolutely critical, like non-negotiable.
Ah, yes. The right-hand rule. You cannot forget this one, especially when eating.
Why is it so important?
It stems from traditional hygiene practices. Historically, and still today, the left hand is designated for personal cleansing. So culturally, it's considered unclean.
Okay, so using it for anything else is bad.
Very bad. You must always eat, shake hands, pass money, and anything to anyone using only your right hand. Using the left is a major faux pas, a serious offense.
Right hand only, burned into memory. Okay, what about how you present yourself? Clothing, it's a predominantly Muslim country.
Correct. So modesty is generally the norm in public. Think covering shoulders, wearing things that come down to around the knees. That's for most public interactions, markets, that sort of thing.
But the sources also said.
Yes. This is the fascinating contrast. Modesty is the baseline, but Senegalese women are incredibly fashionable, like true fashionistas, so definitely pack stylish outfits. Or even better, get something amazing made by a local tailor while you're there.
That sounds amazing. What about beaches?
Public beaches, keep it modest. Cover-ups are your friend. The sources were very clear.
Right.
Definitely no thong bikinis on public beaches.
Right.
But if you're at a private beach club or a hotel pool, things are much more relaxed. You can express yourself more freely there.
Good distinction. Okay, before we hit logistics, you mentioned a Thai tea earlier. That sounds important.
It really is. It's like the ritual embodiment of Teranga. Thaya is strong green tea, usually with mint, and it's served in a very specific way.
How so?
It's a process, usually involving 3 rounds or servings. The first one is brewed strong and bitter, symbolizes maybe the intensity of a new meeting.
Okay.
The second round is made sweeter, represents growing friendship, getting comfortable.
And the third?
The third is the sweetest of all. That symbolizes the sweetness of a lasting friendship. It's a beautiful ritual. If you're invited to share a taya, you should absolutely accept. It's a real sign of connection.
Love that. Okay, let's shift gears. Practicalities. Getting around a car sounds like it can be a bit chaotic.
Yeah, chaotic is a good word for the traffic sometimes. But you have options. The easiest, especially for newcomers, is probably ride-sharing apps. Yango was mentioned specifically.
Like Uber or Bolt elsewhere.
Exactly. Then you've got regular taxis everywhere, loads of them. But the key thing here is negotiation.
Right, you have to agree on the price before you get in.
Absolutely crucial. Otherwise, you might get a surprise at the end. Know the phrase? One eco s'il vous plaît.
Please lower the price.
Yep. Say it with a smile, be polite but firm.
Yeah.
Now for longer trips, outside the city.
Ah, the sept places, the seven-seater Peugeot, they sounded intense.
Ah, yeah, intense is one way to put it. The sources basically describe them as an endurance challenge.
Yeah.
Old cars, often packed. The advice to buy an extra seat for yourself.
Not a luxury.
Definitely not. More like a necessity for survival if you're going, say, 4 hours to Saint-Louis in one.
Okay, noted. What about cheaper, really local options within Dakar?
Sure. There are the Dakar Demdik buses. They're public buses, pretty cheap. And something called Clando, which are kind of like shared minibus taxis or dollar vans.
Less comfortable, I assume.
Much less comfortable, yeah.
Yeah.
But totally viable if you're on a tight budget. One thing, though, you'll see these colorful old vans, car rapides. Sources suggest they might actually be banned now because of safety issues, so probably best to avoid those.
Good to know. Airport transfers. What's a fair price for a taxi?
Okay, from the main airport, Blaise Diagne International, expect somewhere between, say, 12,000 and 20,000 CFA francs. That's roughly 20 to 35 US dollars, give or take.
And agree on that price beforehand?
Always. And just check if tolls are included or extra. Usually extra.
Right. Speaking of CFA, the currency, there was a big warning attached.
Yes. The currency is the West African CFA franc, used in several countries in the region. And the big takeaway, cash is king in Senegal.
Yeah.
Absolutely king.
But getting cash is the problem.
It can be a huge headache. ATMs run out of money all the time. Or they can just be out of service for days, even weeks, especially outside the main touristy or business areas of Dakar.
So all the advice is,
Withdraw large amounts when you find a working ATM, more than you think you'll need for a few days.
okay, but wait, if I'm walking around with a big wad of cash, doesn't that make me a target? You mentioned petty theft risks earlier.
That's the tricky part, you're right. It's a balancing act. The key is not to carry it all at once. Keep only what you need for the day, easily accessible, but hidden securely. Maybe a money belt or a hidden pocket.
And rest?
Stash the rest securely back in your accommodation. Split it up maybe. And when you're out, especially in traffic, be aware. Motorcycle snatch and grabs can happen, so keep taxi windows up in jams. Keep your bag on the side away from the road. Just be smart about it.
Okay, sensible precautions. So you've got your cash, you're heading to the market,
Hmm?
haggling.
Expected. For souvenirs, art, crafts, and definitely for those taxi fares we talked about. Haggle respectfully, of course.
But not for everything.
No, generally prices for food like produce at a stall or street food are fixed. Don't try to haggle for your mangoes.
Got it. And watch out for scams.
Definitely. The classic one mentioned was someone overly friendly trying to lead you to their brother's shop or cousin's gallery. Just politely decline. Those usually lead to inflated prices. Be firm, walk away.
Okay. Last logistics point, accommodation. Best neighborhoods to stay in Dakar.
For proximity to attractions and generally being convenient, the sources recommended areas like Almaty's, Point E, Han, Ngor, or parts of Wakam near the Corniche, the coastal road.
And they warn against some cheaper areas further out, like Pekin or Yoff.
Yeah, the warning wasn't so much about safety, but practicality. Dakar traffic can be horrendous. Staying further out might seem cheaper initially.
But you pay for it in time and taxi fares.
Exactly. You could end up spending hours stuck in traffic and more money on transport than you saved on the room.
Yeah.
Staying central often makes more sense, especially on a shorter trip.
Right, false economy. Okay, let's get to the best part. The food. Sounds amazing. Hearty, spicy, comforting.
That's the vibe. Lots of fish and seafood, naturally, being on the coast. One heads up, though. Vegetarians might find it a bit challenging. Meat or fish stock is often the base for sauces and rice dishes.
Good to know. So, what are the absolute must-try dishes?
Top of the list, Thieboudienne. It's the national dish, literally means fish and rice in Wolof.
Yeah.
Delicious.
Okay, Thieboudienne. What else?
Then there's yassa. This is a fantastic sauce made with tons of onions, lemon, garlic, really tangy and savory, usually served over chicken, yassa poulet, or fish, yassa poisson.
Just incredible. One more?
Mafé. Oh, mafé is pure comfort food. It's this rich, thick, peanut butter-based sauce, usually with meat, often lamb or beef, served over rice. So good.
You mentioned price differences earlier. That example with Thieboudienne was striking.
Yeah, it really shows the range. You could pay, say, 6,000 CFA, maybe $10, $12 for Thieboudienne in a nice restaurant in a mall.
Okay.
But then you go to a small local spot, sometimes called a dairy or just a neighborhood place, and you might get it for 1,500 CFA.
Mm-hmm.
That's like $3.
Wow. And Trials is the cheap one.
Often, the sources suggested, the cheaper local version is actually more authentic and even tastier. It's worth seeking those places out.
Okay, this next point was a real aha moment for me. This connection between Senegalese food and Southern American food, Creole cuisine.
Isn't that fascinating?
Yeah.
There's a direct culinary line traced back through the slave trade.
Yeah.
People carry their food knowledge with them. The word gumbo, that classic Louisiana dish,
Yeah.
it literally comes from a West African word, possibly Wolof, for okra king gumbo. And the original West African stew, often made with okra, is called supu kanja. You can still find versions of it there.
Wow. That's
Uh,
quite a direct link.
It's history you can taste, a very tangible connection to the diaspora.
And that connection, that history, leads us straight to Goree Island.
Yes, Goree Island. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site, just a quick 20-minute ferry ride from Dakar's port.
Hmm.
Visually, it's quite beautiful, colorful colonial buildings, bougainvillea.
But its history is incredibly dark.
Extremely. From the 15th to the 19th century, it was a major center for the transatlantic slave trade on this part of the coast. Not the only one, but a significant one.
And it has the door of no return.
Exactly, the symbolic point where enslaved Africans supposedly last set foot on their home continent before being forced onto ships. It's a profoundly moving, somber place, really essential for understanding the region's history and its global impact.
Definitely sounds like a necessary, if difficult, visit. Okay, let's look beyond Dakar. For people with more time, where else should they consider?
Saint-Louis is a strong recommendation. It was the original French colonial capital, founded way back in 1659. It's about a 4-hour drive north.
What's the vibe there?
It's described as having this faded atmospheric charm. Lots of old, slightly crumbling colonial architecture. There's the famous Federer Bridge, designed by Gustave Eiffel.
The Eiffel Tower guy?
The very same. And you absolutely have to see the fishing district, Guet and Dar. It's incredibly lively, with thousands of these brightly painted wooden fishing boats, the pirogues, lining the shore. Very photogenic.
Sounds cool. What about Lac Rose, the pink lake that pops up on Instagram a lot?
It does. Lac Rose is maybe 25 miles or so from Dakar. It's a salt lake, and its pink color comes from specific algae reacting with sunlight and the high salt content.
Is it always pink?
That's the catch. The intensity of the pink depends on the conditions, time of day, amount of sun, time of year. People still harvest salt there traditionally, wading into the water with baskets, using pirogues.
But the sources had a warning, right?
Yeah, a very honest one. It is not worth the trip if the lake isn't pink. So it's worth trying to check conditions beforehand, if possible, or manage your expectations. Don't hinge your whole day on seeing a bright pink lake.
Fair enough. What about nature lovers?
The Sine-Saloum Delta, about 3 hours south of Dakar, it's a beautiful network of rivers, mangrove swamps, salt flats, lagoons, very different landscape.
And historically significant, too.
Mm-hmm. It's where you'll find Djilor, the village, where Senegal's first president, Léopold Sédar Senghor, who was also a famous poet, was born. You can take boat trips through the mangroves, see tons of birds. It's very peaceful.
Sounds lovely. Anything for the really adventurous, willing to go further afield?
Way out southeast, like a 6-hour drive, is the region of Tambacounda. Pretty remote. But there's something really interesting there called Thread.
Thread? What's that?
It's an artist's residency and cultural center. What's cool is the building itself, designed by a renowned Japanese architect, Toshiko Mori, blending modern design with local materials. But it's more than just art.
So
It also serves as a hub for the community, supporting local agriculture projects. They mention specifically the cultivation of fonio.
what's fonio?
It's this ancient indigenous African grain, very nutritious, drought-resistant. So Thread kind of represents this blend of tradition, innovation, art, and community development. A really forward-looking project.
Wow, that sounds incredible. A good example of modern Senegal. Okay, let's try and wrap this up. Key takeaways for a trip to Dakar and Senegal.
Number 1, understand and respect Teranga, that hospitality is real and deep. Number 2, the cultural norms. Modesty in dress for public spaces, and absolutely the right-hand rule. Don't forget that.
And dive into the culture, the food, the music, the history, especially those connections to the wider African diaspora.
Definitely. Be prepared for the logistics. Have cash. Know how to haggle for taxis. Maybe stay central to avoid traffic headaches.
And we do have that one final, very strong travel warning from basically all the sources.
Yes. Air Senegal. The consensus was overwhelmingly negative. Reports of massive delays, cancellations, poor service, even cleanliness issues. The advice was pretty blunt. Avoid flying with them if you possibly can. Find an alternative carrier.
Good to know. So maybe a final thought to leave listeners with. Senegal seems like this place of contrasts.
It really does. You have this incredible sophistication, the fashion, the energy, this dynamic modern spirit. But it's layered right on top of deep traditions, strong faith, and this profound, sometimes heavy history, like you feel at Goree Island, or even an understanding where gumbo comes from.
So the question is,
Yeah, how does a country manage to be so grounded in its past and traditions, yet so open, so modern, so energetic, all at the same time? It's a fascinating dynamic.
something to really think about and experience when you visit. Well, that's our deep dive into Dakar and Senegal. Thanks for joining us.
Safe travels if you go, and keep exploring.